Welcome to NeuroPop. Have you ever wondered why your brain can be tricked so easily? In this video, we're going to explore more than 10 optical illusions and reveal the science behind them. From moving spirals to color tricks, your perception will be challenged. Stay with us and see how your brain interprets the world and how easily it can be fooled. Before we begin, take a moment to focus on the screen. Look carefully at the patterns you see. This will be important as we explore these illusions. Ready? Let's dive in. Motion illusions are one of the most fascinating ways our brain can be tricked. What you're about to see seems to move, but it's completely static. Let's start with the rotating snakes illusion. Notice how the circular patterns appear to rotate endlessly. This happens because your brain processes the contrast and edges in a certain way, creating the sensation of motion. Your eyes are sending signals to the visual cortex, and the brain makes a guess about movement. That's why it looks alive. Now look at this spiral. As your eyes follow the lines, it seems to twist inward or outward. Small involuntary eye movements, called microsaccades, contribute to this effect. The neurons in your visual cortex respond differently to repetitive patterns, making the spiral appear dynamic. Try focusing on different parts of the pattern. Can you see it moving faster or slower depending on where you look? These simple illusions show how your brain constantly interprets visual input, sometimes creating movement where none exists. Color illusions are another way your brain can be deceived. Take a look at these squares and circles. At first glance, they seem to change color as you stare. But the colors you perceive are influenced by surrounding hues and contrasts. This is called simultaneous contrast. The brain compares adjacent colors and exaggerates the difference, making some shades appear brighter or darker than they truly are. Your perception isn't always reality. Another trick is afterimages. If you stare at a bright color for a few seconds and then look away, you may see the opposite color appear. This happens because the photoreceptors in your eyes become temporarily fatigued, sending altered signals to your brain. These illusions demonstrate that color perception is subjective, influenced by both your eyes and your brain's interpretation of the scene. Perspective and line illusions show how context affects perception. Look at these straight lines. Do they appear tilted or curved? In reality, they are perfectly straight. The cafe wall illusion is a classic example. Alternating black and white bricks create the impression of slanted lines due to the way our brain processes edges and contrast. Our visual system assumes patterns should follow certain rules, and when they don't, we see distortion. The Ponzo illusion demonstrates how converging lines affect perceived size. Two identical objects appear different in size when placed over converging lines. Your brain uses perspective cues to judge distance and size incorrectly. These illusions remind us that perception is an active process. The brain interprets the world, filling in gaps and making assumptions, which can sometimes be wrong. Illusions aren't limited to patterns or drawings. Look around you. Streets, buildings, and objects can create fascinating tricks for your brain. Perspective can make a building look taller, a road appear longer, or objects seem to bend. Your brain uses prior knowledge and assumptions to interpret 3D space, which can sometimes mislead you. Try this yourself. Next time you see railroad tracks converging in the distance, notice how the space seems to shrink. That's your brain interpreting depth cues. By understanding these real-life illusions, you can appreciate how perception shapes reality and how easily the brain can be fooled even outside of labs. Why does all this happen? Your visual cortex processes signals from the eyes and interprets them based on experience, context, and expectations. This active processing is why illusions work. Neurons respond differently to edges, colors, and movement patterns. Sometimes your brain guesses what it sees, and these guesses can create illusions. We've seen motion illusions, color tricks, perspective distortions, and real-life examples. All demonstrate that perception is not objective. It's a constructed experience by your brain. Next time you encounter an illusion, remember, your brain is doing its best to interpret reality, even if it gets fooled. Subscribe for more mind tricks and optical illusions, and test your perception every day.